Linda, welcome to, the Murder Most Misfortunate. There we go. That game, we're doing that thing. But hello, Noah, what is up with you? Why am I early? I'm actually late according to the schedule. So. No. 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 Maybe we'll do this another time, because there are apparently multiple endings and ways to do this incorrectly. So, you know. Let's click, thank you. Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Okay.
My dear Misfortune, I hope this letter finds you well. I did so enjoy our little discussion of the work of Guy de Mauvaisier the last time we met. I would like to cordially invite you to an intimate gathering of mine on the evening of the 27th.
I'm gonna go get a jacket. I realized how kind of cold it is in here. Give me like 5 seconds, I don't know. Knudsen, did you raid while I was away for like 10, 20 seconds? Because I think you did. I'm so sorry. Here, let me give you a shout out. How did your, what do you mean the channel does not exist? That's so rude. I swear to God, if it is once again, like, okay, I must have fucked up. But guys, if you don't know Knudsen, follow him. He somehow hasn't gotten banned on Twitch yet for just showing his wood all day, every day. That's most of his streams. He's just showing his wood live on stream. But hello, Horror Kid. What are you up to? We are being ignored by the streamer. Knudsen, tell me that's not accurate, though. That is accurate. That is definitely what you're doing on stream. Like, 95% of the time? Right? 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 But anyways, so what we're doing is we're playing kind of, you do. It's, It's quite the sight to see. But we're playing this game that's a little kind of like masquerade murder mystery type thing, right? The game does have like multiple endings. I don't know how many, right? So we'll see where this takes us, and I have some ideas for depending upon how this goes, right? So, woo.
We will be celebrating my recent acquisition of a rather unique historical property, and I think you are just the one to properly appreciate it. I look forward to your RSVP in the affirmative. Most sincerely yours, Prince Titanico.
It was at an art auction, I think, that I first met Prince Titanico. He seemed to think the world of himself. I, quite frankly, thought him a bit of a bore. But if I only accepted social invitations from people I thoroughly approved, I wouldn't dine out very often.
That was a lot of shade, ma'am.
I stepped onto the curb from my limo and laid eyes on the place for the first time. Gothic gargoyles loomed ominously over the old house, and creeping vines wound their way up its walls, as though trying to strangle it.
This is the game that we're going to be playing for Halloween, which is partially why I started so early, because I wanted a game that I could like complete. I wanted a game that I could complete, like, you know, for the day and not have it continue on. The only way that I wouldn't do something like this, right, is if we were in the midst of doing, like, some type of, like, horror game, then it would just, like, but it would just be like, wow.
Jeez, Banana, shut your freaking gob, okay?
Thank you, Knudsen. Thank you so much for that. I'm so happy that you've done this. I'm so happy that you've done this. But yeah, like let's say that we were like playing Dead Space or something. If we were playing Dead Space, do it in the Minnesota accent. Is it? Is this really scary or is this not? I don't know. I get very different vibes from this. Oofda indeed. Was that? I completely forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, like if we were doing like Dead Space, right? And we were in the midst of doing Dead Space, I would just plop Dead Space as like the Halloween stream because like, why the fuck not? And then it would just be like, here you go. It's the same thing. Same thing, whatever, you know, like just as long as it's like a more or less on theme, right, like if I was doing Subnautica, I'd honestly probably still be playing Subnautica because of how fucking bad that game gets me. That game gets me like no one's fucking business. God damn, I hate the ocean. I hate everything in it. Fuck the ocean. Ugh.
The prince had been right. It really was to my taste.
Good evening, ma'am. May I have your name?
Ugh, this hulking thug, on the other hand, not so much. Fortune. Miss Fortune.
Is the miss a first name or a title, ma'am?
Oh, I like to leave that to the imagination. Now you must be the butler, so why don't you buttle on and show me inside? The evening is a bit damp, I dare say.
Far from the ocean, not far enough. I don't live far enough from the ocean. Oh, the ocean is so fucked. And then they made it more fucked in Subnautica. I would die. if I was on, first of all, why the fuck would I do any of that? But pretending that for whatever reason I had decided to get on the Aurora, right? And go on this suicide mission that's not a suicide mission. I look at any space mission as a suicide mission, I'm not gonna lie, right? So then it explodes, and if I survived, I would die so fast, 'cause... Oh, man. Oh, man. Also, like, I have a fish allergy. I don't know if, like, other fish on alien planets are gonna be different. But if not, I guess I'm going to find out how to eat seaweed and maybe not get bit by weird, like, crocodile sharks. Yeah. Yeah, just everything in the ocean is kind of fucked for me. It's fine. It's fine here, right? Like, it's fine here. Like, it's really easy to avoid. But other places? Not so much.
No, ma'am. I'm not a butler. Just a valet. My name is Klops.
Oh my, what a terrible shame. Well, butler, or valet, you do open doors, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. Right this way.
He's so pissed. Why is there a wood?
From the cobwebs in the corners and the dust on the railings, it was obvious that the house had been abandoned for some time. Some high society guests might have been insulted to be invited to a venue in such ill repair, but it didn't bother me. I realized that the house had been preserved as it was for the effect.
Misfortune has arrived.
Ah, Misfortune, good evening. There are refreshments on the side table. Please do help yourself.
Why, thank you. So, are you the butler? Or are you going to tell me you're just, I don't know, the concierge?
Butler? No. I'm not a servant.
Sperm whale with the giant squid recent. Maybe. It's possible. It's possible. Maybe? Honestly, sperm whales are just have, like, when sperm whales fight giant squid, really what they're doing is they're just having a feisty little dinner. Their dinner's a little feisty.
I am a close friend and trusted advisor to our dear prince. The Grand Magus of his court, if you will. My name is Horatio.
Charmed, I'm sure.
My dear Misfortune, how are you, darling? It's so good to see you again.
Comtesse de Clecitra. Yes, it's been just ages, hasn't it? I should have known you to be here. You're never one to miss an event on the social circuit.
I dare say I needed something to cheer me up after my late husband's funeral, and an evening like this is just the thing.
I don't know why, but you don't sound very sincere about the, oh no, my late husband's funeral. How sad. The murder has not happened yet. It hasn't. They know each other, so...
Of course. I was so sorry to hear about your husband. This is your 4th time a widow, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, if she's like this young, right? If she's like this young, and this is like her 4th husband, something weird's going on. Something's happening over there.
Quite so. And for you, 9, I believe?
I'm sorry,
Ah,
what?
yes. They just keep dropping dead, the poor dears. It's so hard to find a good man with stamina these days.
How? How do you run, especially our player character? Our player character? An early grave robber? Are you talking about like the women who like marry rich dudes like on their deathbeds? God damn. God damn.
Oh my, should I be worried? Perhaps you've been cursed.
Me? Cursed? Nonsense. I seem to be doing just fine. But maybe I am bad luck. Let me see. What exactly was it that we last saw each other? It must have been at the Emperor's ball.
Heavens, yes! Wasn't that quite the affair? Were you there when one of the waiters spilled a tray of champagne all over Duchess Reese's dress?
Oh, yes. That was positively scrumptious, wasn't it? I mean, a shame about the dress, of course. I heard she had it made just for the ball. Such a pity.
Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm just sitting here watching 18th century Mean Girls, you know?
Well, given how many people come out nowadays, it was bound to happen to someone. I even heard the poor servant say he was sure he felt someone in the crowd give him a little shove. Can you imagine?
Surely not. These are high lords and ladies we're talking about. No doubt the man is just making excuses for his clumsiness.
You're probably right. Just an unlucky accident, I'm sure.
Ah, Misfortune, welcome. I'm so delighted that you could come. I trust Horatio has been keeping you entertained.
Indubitably.
Oh, yes. La Comtesse and I were just scandalizing your court jester. Or was he a wizard? In any case, scandalizing him with our intimate marriage details.
Of course you were. So tell me, what do you think of the house? I must admit, when I first came into this little period piece, I immediately thought of you.
It seems melancholy, mysterious, and maybe just a little macabre. So yes, I quite like it so far.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. I will take you all on a more detailed tour shortly, but we are still waiting for more guests to arrive. And what timing! Here they are now.
Miss Charisse and Miss Leah have arrived, sir.
Why are you wearing jeans? Jeans haven't been invented yet. Well, they have, but not like that. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What is going on?
Is that the Charisse? The industrial heiress? The one who's been throwing all those charity balls ever since she came into her fortune?
The very same.
My beautiful Charisse, please come in. Without you, this place is dark and drab, but your radiance rekindles it anew.
You're too kind.
Oh my! I had heard she was seeing someone, but I never imagined it was him.
Her eyes look dead. She looks fucking dead.
Indeed. This party just got a little more interesting.
And this must be Leah, the girlhood friend of whom you speak so very highly?
Yeah, nice place you got here. If you like entertaining dead people.
Dead people? Yeah, I assure you, fair lady, you are perfectly safe here.
I think it was a critique of the decor, not of our safety.
Leah doesn't mean it. It's a lovely house. Really.
On the contrary, Miss Leah may be more right than she knows. Until recently, this mansion was the property of the Lee family. Perhaps you know of them.
Oh yes, who doesn't? A distinguished family of the nobility with a respected pedigree and a long history of public service and political influence.
So, short version, some stuffy old rich people.
Almost all of the estates out here, away from the city, were owned by old families. But many have had to sell over the years. It must be a bit sad for them, leaving all that history behind.
Indeed, and especially so for the Lees. Theirs is a tale of tragedy, and it ends, as they so often do, in sorrow and blood. Come, the house itself will tell its share of the tale.
The good old smoking room.
This is the smoking room. Did the Lee family use this as a quiet place to relax after their evening meals, I wonder? Or was this the proverbial smoke-filled room where secret deals would be struck and the fates of nations decided?
Newton's on theme already. Newton's on theme.
My attention was drawn to a curio cabinet on one side of the room. Some of the items within rather struck my fancy. This cabinet, are these items originals?
I believe so. I have endeavored to change as little as possible about the house since acquiring it. The Lees were well known as eclectic collectors.
Okay, so there was a knife, there was a voodoo thing, and some small thing over there.
They also say that sorcery ran strongly in the Lee family, you know.
Great. As if we didn't have enough reason to think this place was owned by a bunch of creepers.
Come now, surely a smart little girl like you doesn't put any stock in old superstitions.
Magic and superstitions, no. Weird and creepy people, on the other hand, are plenty real.
No need to worry, young lady. You're among good company here.
We will have time to look around in greater detail later, I assure you. For the moment, follow me, if you would. They called this the king bedroom, home to the master of the house. Now, it is as you see it, empty and forlorn, as it waits for a new master to take the place of the old.
It feels so cold.
Milady, I can call for Klops to bring you a sweater.
And while he's at it, perhaps also a textbook on metaphorical versus literal language.
You are so kind, but I'm fine. It's just the atmosphere of this place.
The Lees were among our most powerful families before the Imperial Revolution. But like most of the old guard at the time, they chose the losing side. In many ways, the family never recovered.
They certainly never recovered financially at the very least. Thus the sale of this very house.
It's almost as if old money runs out if you're not smart with it. Ha, who'd have thought?
Quite so. But at least the house has gone to those who can appreciate its history.
Interesting, there's paintings with scratch marks
This
on them.
is the queen bedroom, and it has a fascinating story. It is said that the famous senator Lamika Lee herself met her end in this very room during the final days of the revolution.
Yeah, I remember learning about that. She was one of the staunchest supporters of the Old Republic.
And she was killed here? In her own bedroom? That's so terrible.
Are we the vampire? Which one's the vampire?
By all accounts, she did not go down without a fight. Revolutionary soldiers had stormed the grounds, but none who came in here survived.
They even say that she sustained herself for days on the blood of the soldiers who kept coming for her.
Well, points for ingenuity. I'll grant her that.
Oh, yeah, this is the main character who we're supposed to be.
But that was all a long time ago. There wouldn't still be any blood left here now, or anything.
Really? With all the red, it's rather difficult to say, isn't it? Who knows how much of it might have soaked into the floor, the walls, the bed.
You bet we are the murderer.
You are right, my darling Charisse. It is all long past. A good tale for a night of ghost stories, perhaps. But thankfully, these are happier times.
Disrespect your surroundings!
Thank you, Horror Kid, for the follow.
And here we have the dining hall. I see that Klops has left some tea and coffee on the table for us.
And orange juice, too, I hope. I'm running rather low. All this dry air, you know?
I'll see to it, sir.
For me, just a spot of black coffee would be wonderful.
This concludes our formal tour of the estate, but our evening is far from over. Tonight, my friends, is more than just a housewarming party. Before the night is done, I have a very special announcement to make to you all. Don't worry, my dear. You are safe with me.
Thank you. I was just a bit startled.
Oh, heavens, yes! The light's going out! What horror! I dare say I may faint myself, delicate flower that I am.
Flower? A noxious weed, perhaps?
Oh, please, Misfortune, allow me. I've got you now.
Oh, what would we do without you? On second thought, you can unhand me. I seem to be quite all right.
Halloween, the happiest of the Halloweens. Yes. Very, very, very festive. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Good, good. Because there's nothing to be worried about. It's just a little blackout.
Would you be so good as to check the breaker then, my dear Horatio?
Yes, of course. My talents will shed some light on all of us in no time.
Every day is Halloween at your house. Sort of felt.
I absolutely adore these old homes, but they do so often have problems with the wiring, don't they?
Yes. Tube wiring? Kind of fucking terrible.
Excuse me, boss. Sir, there's a telephone call for you.
A call for me? Here? How mysterious. You must excuse me, my dear guests. Klops will fetch some candles for you so you can look around while Horatio works his magic on the lighting. I will return very shortly.
I wandered back to the king bedroom by myself to take a closer look at some of the decor.
Okay. Oh, great.
The elaborate carvings on the wooden bedpost intrigued me. Spirits and demons of all sorts circled and surrounded any lord who might sleep in this bed.
They had exposed wiring. Oh my god. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense, I'll give you that. But oh my god. Also...
Was this preferable, I wondered, than sleeping in the arms of Lamika Lee, blood drinker as she was rumored to be? The air in the old house was still and thick with dust. But even had there been a draft, I doubt the black drapes by the room's window would have stirred.
That's all that I know. Like, after it's just like, oh yeah, like, tube wiring caused a lot of, like, older homes to go up in fucking flames. It's, that's about all that I know when it comes to, like, electrical wiring. Other than, probably don't touch it. At least I shouldn't. I probably shouldn't touch it. Because after that, I absolutely know nothing, really, about electrical wiring in the slightest bit.
Even I was surprised by how thick and heavy the material was. No sunlight would have pierced its way into this room against its occupants' wishes. That much was certain. Looks like our court magician has managed to conjure back a little light for us after all. I simply adore old chandeliers, especially the ones that come crashing down unexpectedly on the heads of people I don't like. Modern light fixtures just don't have that same potential. Had these books on the shelf belonged to the Lee family as well? Curious, I skimmed a few of the titles. A History of the Republic, Genealogy of the Great Families, How to Train Killer Bats, Genghis Khan and the 21 Balloons. All dreadfully dull classics, I'm sure. I'd hoped that by taking a closer look at the ruined portrait, I might be able to discern who had been pictured. I could imagine no shortage of delicious reasons why a lord's portrait might be disfigured in a house such as this.
Yes, killer bats. You heard that right, Knudsen. Killer bats.
Shredded by a bitter servant when the master was thought absent. Savaged by an angry child who never quite lived up to expectations. Alas, the portrait seemed more a victim of old age than of some crime of passion, and of the face, I could make out nothing at all.
At last I found you, Misfortune. You need to come right away. Please.
Whatever is the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost with that one eye of yours.
I needed to kill asking for a friend. It's quite a bit, because, like, so vampire bats normally feed off of, like, cows, right? And they leave the cows alive. They really only need, like, a little... They don't really need they need a lot, but they don't need a lot, right? Because they're like, you know, palm of your hand tiny. They're very small. Granted, blood is not high in nutrients, so they need quite a lot of it, but quite a lot of it for a tiny creature like that, it's not much. Also, they can't feed a lot at once, because if they get too heavy, they can't fly, right? So, sometimes that does happen if I remember right. Sometimes it does happen where they feed too much, and then they can't fly, and so they just kind of chill out on the cow for a bit.
There's no time to waste, miss. You should see for yourself.
Chupacabra doesn't keep them alive.
Gathering my skirts, I hurried after the hulking butler, valet, back to the hall where we had first arrived. From the urgency in his pace and in his voice, I knew that something had happened. But still...
Oh, my goodness. Your leg's broken.
It was our host, Prince Titanico. He was dead. That alone wouldn't scare me. I was no stranger to dead bodies. But from the way he was lying, it was clear that his death was no accident. He'd been murdered. And that meant that someone in the mansion was the murderer.
I'm sorry, the game is taking the hottest of seconds to load. Okay, there we go.
I found the rest of the ladies. Now, Klops, what is this all about?
Is that a body? Here! Oh, positively horrid!
Ugh! Everyone, shield your eyes! This is not a sight for fair sensibilities.
The other guests stood in the doorway opposite myself and Klops. My eyes fell on our oh-so-sensitive ingenue, Charisse. If ever there was a time to faint for real, this was it. But she didn't. She just stared into the room, her eyes wide, glassy, and unblinking.
Somebody needs to call the police!
Yes, ma'am. Right away.
It'll take them a while. We're ways out of the city.
We shouldn't touch anything. Let's all go back to the dining room and wait for the police to arrive.
No.
What?
We can't just sit and wait. We need to investigate. We need to see the truth with our own eyes.
I'm with you on that, Sherry.
Well, if our precocious little darlings are going to be poking about, I'm certainly not going to be left out.
If you insist, then.
My dears, please do be very careful.
We won't disturb anything, Comtessa. I promise.
That is not what I meant. It could be that whoever did this has not gone far.
Oh. Surely it was just some villain who has since fled the scene.
I'll keep an eye out, sir. Just nobody wander far, you understand?
Perhaps it would have been more comforting to believe the culprit was some stranger, a shadow in the night that was now long gone. But it just wouldn't have fit the evening's theme, now would it?
You did the maths? He did the maths, ladies and gentlemen. He did the fucking maths. 106 vampire bats, 2 suck, 2 liters of blood fatal for the average human. Nice. Wonderful. That's many bats.
I had a hunch that there was something more afoot in the old manor that night, and I certainly wasn't going to trust anyone else to properly figure it out.
We're such a cunt, like with a capital C. Oh my god.
No, what a tragedy. What a cruel twist of fate. And to think, tonight was meant to be an evening of joy and making merry.
I'm not exactly sure that joy is the word I'd pick for an evening in this house. But I'll admit, I was never expecting anything like this.
It was such a monstrous sight. Do you think Miss Leah and Miss Charisse will be all right?
All right. They looked healthy enough to me.
No, I mean, do you think they'll be distraught? You, if you don't mind me saying, are a woman of the world, Misfortune. But they are so young, so pure, like a newly bloomed flower that has only seen sunlight, never knowing that there is also night and all the horrors that it hides.
You're a weird guy, dude. I mean, I guess that's why you're a fucking wizard, though.
A rose, by any other name, can still prick you quite nastily if you don't know what you're doing.
I beg your pardon?
Never mind, my dear Horatio. Prince Titanico mentioned an announcement that he wished to make this evening. Do you know what that was all about?
Yes, or at least I think so.
You mean you're not sure?
You must understand, the prince was a man with a flair for the dramatic. He rather liked his secrets, and hence his surprises.
That I don't doubt. In fact, I wouldn't put it past him to have staged his own death, just to leave us all in suspense.
My dear friend did have rather unusual tastes, but I fear in this case it was not part of the plan.
I see. So, are you going to tell me then?
About what?
About the announcement, of course.
No, I think not.
Oh?
As I said, he liked his secrets. Telling you now, it just wouldn't be what he'd want.
Well, if you do so insist on being obstinate, I suppose I will have to make do on my own.
A true magician never reveals his secrets, Misfortune, nor those of his friends.
Horatio, how long had you known our dear departed host?
Why does he have a wizard's hat? Because he's a wizard! Didn't you hear him, Knudsen? He's a fucking wizard!
I have, well, had been his closest friend and confidant for many years.
Oh yes, the Grand Magus of his court, didn't you say?
I did, but alas, though I can conjure a parlor trick or two, I could do little to foresee this unseemly doom.
Indeed. Unseemly. Just the word I would have used. Presumably you would know then, if the prince had any enemies.
A man like the prince always does, but none of them are here.
I would say the evidence suggests the contrary.
Surely you don't mean to suggest that it was one of us. After all, didn't you say that all your husbands just died from bad luck? Perhaps it was that.
You have to go to the shops. I don't know what's over there, so I can't even be like, hey, go get me the thing.
Yes, quite. Bad luck. Where were you when this absolutely dreadful business happened?
I imagine I must have still been in the basement, or very close to it. I'd only just got the lights back on, and I was coming up the stairwell when Klops found me.
Was he the one to discover the body then?
I believe so. He asked me to help find all the guests, which leads me to cleverly deduce that I was the first one he encountered after the gruesome discovery.
Ah, clever indeed. Nothing gets past you, does it, dear?
Ahem. Well, I wouldn't go that far. But where were you, Misfortune?
I was in the king bedroom.
Alone?
As it happens, yes. I've always been the sort to need a little bit of me time every so often, you know.
But you could have been in danger!
Oh, horrors, you're right. If only I was clairvoyant, I might even have been worried at the time, too.
Well, never fear. You're safe with me now.
Yes, I'm sure I am. I do believe it's about time I took a bit of a stroll.
Do be careful, Misfortune, and please, if you have need of my talents...
Worry not, my dear. If the lights happen to go out again, I'll know just who to call.
You now examine your inventory. Okay.
Goodness, the evening must be wearing on me more than I thought. Even my purse seems heavy.
Dining hall.
A knife? In my bag? It's even flecked with blood.
Ooh, that came from the king's bedroom.
And what's this? A ring? It looks decidedly pricey, but it's not one of mine. How did it get here?
Diamond
For
ring.
just a moment, I was confused. But then the gruesome sight of Titanico's body flooded my thoughts, and the truth hit me. I was being set up. Almost certainly, what I held in my hands was the knife that had stabbed the prince. I don't know how it got in my purse, but whoever put it there had made a mistake. Because if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that anyone who tries to frame me for murder is going to regret it.
Okay. I think that we should go to The smoking room, because I think that's where that cabinet was. Yep.
I returned
nice
to what the prince had called the proverbial smoke-filled room. It struck me that this would be the perfect place to call everyone and reveal the truth to this mystery. All in good time, of course. In the meantime, I thought it wise to take another look around while I still had the room to myself. That cabinet had a few things of interest in it, if I remember correctly. Let's take a closer look.
There was definitely a knife here.
A padded velvet cushion sat in the cabinet looking somewhat forlorn. Surely it was meant to showcase something more interesting, but there was nothing on it now.
Okay.
I could swear that something had been on this cushion before. Just what was it?
It was the knife.
Yes, that was it. There had been a knife on the cushion during our tour. I was sure of it. And not just any knife. The knife that may have stabbed the prince. But who could have taken it? I cast my mind back, trying to remember if anyone had lingered behind for even a moment. But it availed me nothing. The prince had been the first to leave the room, but that was the only thing of which I was certain. In the cabinet, there was an odd little doll that seemed to be made out of straw. Was it some kind of voodoo doll? I tried making those a time or two myself, although, to my great dismay, they never seemed to actually work quite right. On one side of the room, there was a wine rack filled with dusty old bottles. Most were empty, but a few still contained small amounts of what must have been very well-aged red wine. At least, I hoped it was just wine. With a family like the Lees, one could never be quite sure. Perhaps I should take a bottle with me to check it later, just in case.
Okay. The wine bottle's been added to inventory.
The strange pose of the statue in the corner of the room rather reminded me of my third husband. You see, the last time I saw the dear old boy, he was in the process of losing his balance and tumbling down the whole stairs. Terrible tragedy, really. I had to have those stairs completely replaced just to get the blood out.
Very, very, very caring about dead husband. Very caring. Okay, so there's nothing else here. Okay. Important information. Go back and talk here because you previously talked. I do not think it was the magic guy. I really don't.
In the queen bedroom, I found my old social acquaintance, the Comtessa. To say that I trusted her was going much too far. But I had certainly known her longer than anyone else there that evening. Besides that, I knew her to have an ear for gossip and an eye for detail. If there was anyone who could tell me a little more about the cast of our little drama, it was her.
There you are, Misfortune, darling. I must say this whole affair is just dreadful, isn't it?
Tragic. Truly tragic.
Prince Titanico was an eccentric man, but he knew how to put on a show. Sadly, this is rather more than I expected, I'm afraid.
Are we really sure he didn't plan the whole thing after all? You know, have the last laugh, go out with a bang, that sort of thing?
Oh, no, my dear, I don't think so. The prince, by all accounts, was far too fond of himself for that.
Pity. It would have made for such a delicious story. Not to mention no longer having to worry about a possible killer being on the loose.
Quite so.
I don't know about you, but I can't shake the impression that Miss Therese was, for lack of a better term, the guest of honor this evening. What do you know about her?
Oh, the poor girl. She's an only child, and her parents passed away just recently.
Yes, I feel for her. An enormous inheritance, and all of a sudden no one around to tell her how to spend it. The family, they were industrialists, were they not?
That's right, though by the end they were into pretty much everything. Manufacturing, banking, real estate, and more. They were a bit close-lipped about their net worth, but certainly one of the richest private families in the empire.
And if I recall correctly, they were a new money family, too. Money-grubbing upstarts. I think I heard them called at court from time to time.
Did you really? I don't doubt it, of course. My word, that place can be just so beastly sometimes.
Actually, I thought that was rather tame. You should hear the things they call me.
Oh yes, they can say such horrid things about widows like us. Sometime you and I will have to swap stories of the more creative ones. When the circumstances are more pleasant, of course.
Of course. Darling, I have a little confession to make. Although I'd met our good host, ex-host, a number of times, I'm afraid I never really knew him, if you understand what I mean.
I hardly expect you're the only one in that situation, my dear. The prince had this maddening habit of talking all the time and yet somehow still saying very little.
So was he really a prince then? Do you know?
These days, title really does not mean what it once did. After all, how many do you have now?
Oh, let me see. At least 3. All by marriage, of course. Sometimes it can be hard to keep track.
Just so. No doubt our late prince could make some claim or another. But these days, who can't? Just about anyone can claim a tenuous connection to some great old family that was thought lost in the Revolution. And it's so hard to prove them wrong. And as long as there isn't money involved, no one much cares to try.
So he called himself a prince, and that's about all anyone knew. He wasn't married or anything, was he?
Good heavens, I hope not. You did see him doting all over our sweet little Charisse, didn't you?
Come now, Comtessa. You and I both know that's proof of nothing.
So cruel, but so true. Still, if he was ever married, I never heard of it.
And you do have such a knack for hearing interesting things, darling. If there was anything to hear, I dare say you would have heard it.
Oh, modesty forbids.
In any case, it would seem our late prince was quite the enigma then. At least I can feel glad that I wasn't the only one in the dark. So how did you know Prince Titanico then? I met him at an art auction myself. How about you?
Oh, I hardly knew him at all, really. He was an acquaintance of my late husband's. They played cards together sometimes at his club, or so I understand.
I see. Is this the first time you've seen him then, since your husband passed away?
Well, he came to the funeral, but other than that, yes. Yes, it is.
Don't you think it's a little odd that he would invite you out to a rather small event like this, when your husband was the one he actually knew?
He said he thought I would appreciate the historical nature of the estate, and he's not wrong on that count. Perhaps he may have also thought I'd be a little lonely, being recently widowed and all. That part's nonsense, of course. A woman in my position gets rather used to it. But it's sweet of the dear boy to try.
Yes, indeed. One does get used to it. Husbands come and go. It's the way of the world, really.
They just go. What a fucking thing to say. What a fucking thing to say.
True.
They're just here for a couple of days and then they're gone and then you get another one. You know, if this was puppies, people would have real questions about, like, what are you doing to those puppies?
You know, it was really quite shocking. One minute the prince was playing host and telling ghost stories, and next thing you know, we all come running and he's dead on the floor.
Oh, indeed. That was a surprise of a most unpleasant nature.
Where were you when you heard the news? It was that one-eyed shambler in the ill-fitting coat who found me in the other bedroom. Did he find you first?
No. In fact, I was in here, and it was that young man with a decidedly orangish hue who brought me the news.
Our oh-so-helpful Horatio. He must have been done fixing the lights then.
Yes, they'd only just come on. I must say, he was in quite a state, with those robes of his flapping about everywhere. I expect I would have laughed if he didn't look so distressed.
Oh, alas, such a wasted opportunity.
Mind you, he didn't tell me exactly what the matter was at first. I'm not sure he knew himself. He only said that something had happened, and we had to gather everyone together right away.
And our two little darlings. You found them on the way back then?
Precisely, just as we were coming back down to the main floor.
Well, it's good we've got that all straightened up. With so much running about the house, it's enough to make one's head spin trying to sort it all out.
Oh, my word, yes! I used to get quite bad headaches myself, especially back when I was with my second husband. Mind you, those only ever seemed to come on when he was telling golfing stories.
My dear, I know exactly what you mean. On a small table near the center of the room sat a little book, the kind one could write in. Could it be a diary? And by reading it, might I steal a forbidden glimpse into the inner life of some member of the once mighty Lee family? But to my great disappointment, I found the pages empty. Ah, well, I suppose that hoping to discover the defiant last words of the infamous Lamika Lee written in blood really would have been a bit much to ask for. I couldn't make out the lady in the ruined portrait, but I assumed it must be some grand old dame of the Lee household. Why had she been left behind, I wondered? Had the rest of the family simply not liked her? Mind you, if I ever had to sell one of my estates, I'd rather fancy leaving behind as many self-portraits as I could spare. You know, just so that the new owners would feel like I was keeping an eye on them.
Okay.
A set of old vases sat on the dresser. Could there possibly still be anything in them? The neck of the nearest vase was too narrow for me to see anything inside at a glance. I suppose I could have stuck my hand in to feel around, but there could easily be a mouse or a spider lurking in there. No, that would be a much more suitable job for Miss Charisse and those small, dainty hands of hers, I think. I'd helpfully noted the garish red color of the bed the first time we visited the room, but this time, something looked off. Near the top of the bed, the color looked darker than before. I reached beneath the pillows, and sure enough, it was a knife with a distinctively wavy blade, a blade that was covered with blood. I'd wager a good portion of my last husband's life insurance that the blood belonged to Prince Titanico himself. So, there hadn't been just one knife, but two. But which one had stabbed the prince? Or had they both? My discovery seemed to have led to more questions than answers, but one way or another, I was certain that this was a critical piece in the puzzle of the prince's death.
I say, darling, what have you got there?
Well, it seems to be a knife. I found it here under the pillow.
A knife? Goodness, do you think it could be the murder weapon?
I'm not sure, but it very well could be. Let's just leave it here, shall we? I'm sure the police will want to know about it later, but for now, it will be our little secret.
Very well, dear. I do so love a good secret.
Okay, I don't think that there's anything else to examine here. We're already in the king's bedroom.
This should be the breaker room, but... Ow! Drat it all! I really don't feel like groping around in the dark and bumping into dangerous old electrical equipment. I should probably come back after I find a flashlight or a candle.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the main hall.
As best I knew, our mysterious murder had happened here, in the hall. At the very least, I thought the body warranted a closer look. Luckily for me, I was no stranger to corpses. Funerals for 9 different husbands will do that, you know.
One for every year. One for every year, I suppose.
13, 14, 15.
Oh, this is where you are.
It seems I'm not alone here. But what is the poor girl doing? She's just pacing back and forth and muttering to herself. Have the evening's events already broken her fragile little mind? My dear little Miss Charisse, what in the world are you doing?
I'm counting.
So good to see they still teach that in grade school these days. How marvelous.
I think the timing seems off. I need to check again.
On second thought, maybe they don't teach it so well after all. I almost think I'll regret asking. But darling, what timing is off?
It's Mr. Klops, the butler.
Valet.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, what about him then?
I saw him go into this room when the lights were out.
I see. Is that when he found the body, do you think?
I think so. He came running out looking for Mr. Horatio. I don't think he saw me.
Oh, well, you can't blame the poor man for that. He only sees half as much as the rest of us. But just what does that have to do with all your pacing and counting?
I think he was in here too long.
I beg your pardon. Too long?
I've been timing how long it takes to walk from the door to the body. It doesn't add up. I'm sure he was in here longer. Maybe an extra 20 seconds.
Well, aren't you a delightfully clever little girl? Maybe you should have been a detective rather than a fabulously wealthy industrial heiress.
Oh, it's nothing, really. It's just... well, it's not my first time being around a murder case. That's all. I guess that helps a little.
I'm sorry, my dear, but did you say this isn't your first murder?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean, it wasn't my murder. But I was there when it happened.
My. I never would have imagined. It must make for an absolutely thrilling story, I'm sure.
Please, you must forgive me, but I really don't want to talk about it.
Of course. How rude of me to pry. I'm sure the experience must have been just ghastly for you. But, oh my, you don't suppose it could have something to do with our current predicament, do you?
No, I don't think so. It was a long way away, and the killer was stopped. And besides, except for Leah and I, nobody here was involved.
Well, that's a relief. It would be just awful if there was a serial killer following you around, or something like that. It must just be coincidence, then, that people keep dropping dead wherever you go.
I mean, ma'am.
Suppose that it must be.
Ma'am. Should you be saying anything like that?
So, my poor little girl, I was talking to my friend the Comtessa, and she told me she'd heard people at court say the rudest things about your late family.
I suppose they might have done. Sometimes people will say things that are quite unkind. I try not to let it bother me.
Still, it must be awfully hard being a new money family when there are so many busybodies who go on and on about tradition and blue blood and that sort of thing.
Oh, I don't think so. Some people will say cruel things about anybody. I've heard them say things even about the Comtessa, too. So it wasn't just us.
About the Comtessa, really? I thought you said you didn't listen to that sort of thing.
I try not to. But Titanico talked about it sometimes. I think he knew the Comtessa's last husband before he passed away.
My goodness! Surely he didn't imply that she was in any way responsible. That would be unthinkable.
Well, he did say there were rumors. But I'm sure that's all they were. Like I said, people say nasty things sometimes.
Murder! Murder!
Yes, my dear. They most certainly do.
Are you back, Newton, from the shops? What did you get?
In any case, it's a good thing I found you, my dear. I had a feeling you just might be in need of my expertise.
Your expertise?
Oh, yes, dear. I've buried 9 husbands after all. I've got this morning business down pat, if I do say so myself.
Forgive me, I didn't know. I'm so sorry to hear it. That's just so much bad luck for one lifetime.
One gets used to it. And it's not all bad news. My last husband, the Duke, left me this marvelous country estate that is absolutely to die for. But, silly me, here I am going on and on about myself. You must be so terribly distraught about all of this.
Yes, Newton, my favorite. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The prince and I, well, we hadn't been seeing each other for very long. But still, it's such a horrible crime. That's why I can't rest until I know the truth behind it.
He did seem rather smitten with you, I must say.
Well, he just liked to exaggerate, I'm sure. He had rather his own unique way with words.
Unique is one way to put it. You don't suppose that in his grandiose infatuation, he wrote you into his will, did he?
Oh, I can't imagine that he would have. He never said so anyway.
Pity. That's usually the first thing I ask for. Ah, well, live and learn, my dear. Was it only coincidence that the trail of candles in the center of the main hall seemed to lead straight to the body of the prince? Or had our mysterious killer intentionally used them to frame their handiwork out of some sense of macabre artistry? Well, tragic as it might be to despoil a work of art, it occurred to me that a candle might come in handy for searching the dark old house. Since with all the commotion of finding the body, I must have misplaced the one I had earlier.
Okay, cool.
I decided it was time to take a closer look at the body. Corpses are always a bit distasteful, to be sure, but I'd seen enough rich old lords killed in unfortunate hunting accidents that I was rather used to it. The prince was face down on the floor, and there was an odd angle to his right leg. So odd, in fact, that I'd wager a platinum necklace or two that it was broken in at least one spot. Could simply collapsing on the spot from a stab wound cause a break like that? I seriously doubt it.
No, especially since the buzz, since, like, he would potentially be, like... If you're, like... Right, so if you're not anticipating and your body doesn't go rigid, the likelihood of you breaking a bone goes way down.
The prince's most obvious injury was the wound on his back. Judging from the way the clothes had been pierced, it had almost certainly been made by a knife. The wound itself was deep and vicious. Clearly the work of no ordinary butter knife. The blood had soaked through the back of the prince's evening wear, but given the nastiness of the wound itself, there wasn't as much of it as I might have expected. There was something odd about the prince's right hand. I knelt down to get as close a look as I could without touching it. The palm and inside of the fingers had been burnt and blackened. I checked the left hand as well, just to be sure, but it seemed undamaged. There was something odd about the prince's... I checked the left hand as...
Okay, so... Interesting. Okay.
The house must have been abandoned for quite some time indeed. For on one side of the hall, part of the wall itself had collapsed, and nature was slowly but surely spilling into the house and reclaiming its territory. Let's hope that the place would hold up long enough for us to wrap up our little party at the very least.
Okay, so there's nothing else in here. Let's go to that electric room.
Thanks to my candle here, I should be able to find the light switch. Ah, there we go. With only a little effort, I found my way down to the basement of the old house. Although our little adventure with the lighting had seemed natural enough at the time, given the condition of the house, the prince's murder had colored all of the evening's happenings with a more sinister shading. Perhaps examining the house's electrical panel for myself would shed some light on the mystery. That must be the breaker panel. Let's take a closer look, shall we? I don't know much about this sort of thing, but it looks to me that all the switches are on, except for one. Well, fun as it would be to make the little girl faint again, I probably shouldn't touch them for now. Hello, what have we here? It's an electrical timer. I once used one of these in the school breaker room to shut off the lights during my high school exams. You can use it to flip a breaker switch at a predetermined time. The question is, just what is it doing here? I'm starting to think our little blackout earlier might have been no accident after all. The wiring is old, but it looks to me like it should all work. It's a bit of a mess, though. Hard to tell just what goes where.
There's a slash here, though. Or is that a cobweb? Cobweb. Okay. Found a timer thing. Let's go back to the dining hall.
Horatio, my dear, I'm so sorry, but I'm afraid you've got some explaining to do.
Or trip breakers, not screw breakers. So when did like that get switched out? When did they start swapping out the screw breakers for trip breakers?
Now, Misfortune, I already told you, a magician.
Yes, never reveals his secrets and all that. Why don't we just skip to the part where you tell me what this is all about?
Really? I would have thought that would have been sooner, but you know, like I said, what the fuck do I know about wiring?
Where did you find that?
In the breaker room, darling. Right where you left it.
Oh.
Here's the part where you start talking, then.
Well, you're right. I put it there. It was Titanico's idea. He thought the whole blackout business would add some drama to the evening.
An excuse to startle us. Especially poor little Miss Charisse. So there was nothing wrong with the wiring, then?
And are, like, screw breakers, like, are they any worse than, like, the trip breakers? Or I guess, like, why was there, like, the swap out?
Nothing at all. That's why he had to make sure to send me to deal with it.
Cause, like, so, like, my mother's house is pretty old. It's, like, it's a small, little old house, right? And that thing has trip breakers. But I imagine that, like... But I imagine that was done, like, you know... that was redone at some point. So I'm just kind of like, why would you, like, if you already have a breaker? Oh yeah, okay. I think I've heard of that before. Yeah, you had to get you had to get like fuses and shit. Yeah, okay. Okay. That makes sense.
So, you were the only other one who knew about this little special effect then.
Yes, I do believe so. I did say that the prince often took me into his confidence, didn't I?
Yes, several times, I think.
Well, you won't tell anyone else, will you? As you can see, it had nothing to do with the murder.
It does seem that way, I suppose. At least, for now. Horatio, dear, are you certain you won't tell me about this special announcement that the prince was going to make?
Of course. My lips are sealed.
Oh, ho-hum. Then I suppose I'll just have to tell you about it.
You... what?
It had to do with this, didn't it?
Alakazam, how did you get that?
I rather wish I knew that myself. But for now, I think it's best to stay on track while the wizard is still wonderstruck. Tut-tut, my dear. Magicians aren't the only ones who get to keep secrets. The important thing is what the prince planned to do with it. It was his, wasn't it?
Well, yes. I mean, it was. Well, it wasn't exactly for him, you see, yet... oh dear.
No need to worry, darling. I already know exactly what it was for. It's simple, really. He was going to propose to Charisse.
And what makes you say that?
Oh, come now, my dear. It doesn't take a fortune teller to see that he'd been doing everything in his power to sweep her off her feet. Add to that a diamond ring sized for slender little fingers, and the story all but writes itself.
It is true that he was quite, taken with her, yes. I mean, who wouldn't be, really?
Oh, yes. Sweet, demure, pliable, and very, very rich. Just the type for the prince, I'm sure.
You're not going to tell Miss Charisse about this, are you? Surely it would only make things even harder for her.
No, at least not yet. Like I said, sometimes I like to have a secret or two up my sleeve myself. But confirming that I was right about the prince's intent certainly does paint this mystery in a whole new light.
Okay. I doubt there's anything in here.
At first, I was inclined to laugh at the giant, oddly proportioned statue that was the dining room's centerpiece. But as I drew closer, I couldn't help but feel a bit intimidated by the way it loomed over me. Then again, I could say the exact same things about that gruesome one-eyed manservant Klops. Who'd have ever thought he would have so much in common with a work of art? The family crest of the Lees still adorns some of the flags and banners that hung from the walls in the dining room. I suppose it wasn't a bad crest, really. A little overly dramatic with all the spikiness, perhaps. But then, they weren't exactly a family that had cultivated a particularly cuddly image. Inside the lantern was a candle. I doubt anyone would notice if I took it with me.
That's just to get. That's another way to just get it.
Long, narrow tables stretched down either side of the room for what seemed like forever. At one end were the remnants of our refreshments from earlier, but I think I'll leave them alone for now. I mean, it didn't look like poison had anything to do with the prince's death, but one can never be too careful.
Wouldn't you all be dead then? Just kind of a thought.
The family crest of the Lees still adorns some of the a little overly.
Okay. So that's basically the same thing. So this has no discernible things in it, really. What if we went back to the main hall? Okay.
I returned to the king bedroom, where I'd been when the whole grisly affair started. I thought it might give me a chance to think by myself, but alas, it was not to be.
You looking at a phone? I don't know what time period this takes place, but like the fact that everybody's acting the way that they are, speaking the way that they are, and then there's just this person that feels so out of place.
The curtains were drawn back, and a particularly pernicious twerp of a girl was leaning halfway out the window. After what had already happened, it would be such a shame were she to slip and go out all the way.
Especially with it being about lords and whatever,
really
you know.
Ought to be more careful. My dear little girl, just what are you doing? You're liable to go for quite the little tumble if you keep leaning out the window like that.
I'm trying to get a decent signal.
Oh no, she's got a cell phone. What the hell?
Oh, for your phone? Yes, it does seem like you young people just can't get by without them these days.
But like in this capacity though, in this type of setting with this type of dialect and word choice? No. This isn't modern day. Like, it's just not, but for some reason it is. What the fuck?
I don't care about the phone. I want network access.
Whatever for.
So I can hack the phone company records and figure out who called this house.
You can do that, can you?
Yep. Look, I hate people staring over my shoulder when I'm working. Can't you go find a fainting couch and a bottle of smelling salts or something?
Now, Miss Leah, was it? I'm afraid I just don't know very much about you. Who are you exactly?
Well, the House of Lords is in the UK Parliament, right? Yes? No? I don't know. That sounds right. It sounds right. So maybe it's right. I don't know. I don't know these
Sherry's
things.
friend? I rather gathered that much. But, my dear girl, what with her enormous fortune, social connections, and nauseatingly innocent good looks, I'd imagine the list of people who'd like to be friends with Miss Charisse is rather long. What's special about you?
We're going to use the Google machine! Wonderful.
Fine. My parents were rich too. They're in the tech business. Sherry and I went to private school together. I helped her with math, she helped me be a better person. Fair trade, I hope.
You say were. Have your parents passed away as well?
Why is everybody dying here?
No, we just don't get along too well right now.
Ah, and your dear old fabulously wealthy school friend took you in. How sweet of her.
Uh-huh, I see where you're going with this. And no, I'm not financially dependent on Charisse. Sure, I live with her, but I've got a nice little fund of my own. So I've got no motive to bump off a boyfriend out of fear that he'll kick me out of the house or something like that.
Oh my, perish the thought. I'd never dream of suggesting such a thing.
No, I'm sure you've got much nastier things to save for your dreams.
So your friend Miss Charisse, just how long had she been seeing our dear departed host?
Not that long, but he seemed pretty intense about it. Nighttime river cruises, the opera, the theater, you name it.
827 lords are in the House of Lords. I don't know if that corresponds to anything at all.
Ah, swept off her feet into a whirlwind romance with a dark and mysterious dashing older man. Your friend must have been positively giddy with excitement.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, it must have been so hard for you, being left out of all that and resigned to watching from the sidelines.
Yeah, right. That kind of high society stuff isn't really my thing.
No, I suppose not.
To vote on the Prime Minister, that is the House of Commons. Once again, I know nothing about. I just have to take your word for it. Like, okay, yep, sure, great.
Come to think of it, Wizard Boy sometimes looked a little pouty at being left out, though.
Did he really? How do you know? Did he tell you so?
No, nothing like that. Just an impression I got. Not really my business anyway. As long as Sherry's happy, I'm happy. That's all that matters.
I see. So, was she happy?
It was what she wanted. So yeah.
And try though you might, you just can't bring yourself to sound happy about that. My, how curious.
Look, if you're gonna pry any further, you'd better go get yourself a crowbar, don't you think?
So, your sweet little friend. She can be quite the tease, it seems. I was just talking to her earlier, and she let it drop that this wasn't her first murder case.
I have to take Wikipedia's word for it. You know, Wikipedia isn't an awful source. It really isn't. I don't know why. I don't know if you had this in school, Newt, but it was like, you can't use Wikipedia as a reliable source of information because people can go and change it. And it's like, yeah, and when people do, like I had some guys at my school that like edited a Wikipedia article. They got in so much trouble. Oh my god, like I think like the cops were involved too. Like it was kind of wild. It was like, Jesus. If anything, they probably just wrote dick jokes on a Wikipedia article. Why are the police involved? Goddamn.
must think you're very clever for worming that out of her. You know, I bet you're one of those people who think they're a lot smarter than they really are, aren't you?
My dear Leah, something like that is not exactly the wisest thing to say when you're perched precariously on the edge of a window. It's ever so fortunate that I'm in a good mood today.
A good mood. Here, now. How could... No, never mind. I forgot who I was talking to.
But biased. In, like, what way do you mean?
In any case, my dear, Miss Therese said the only other one here who was involved in that case was you. No matter how smart I might or might not think I am, surely you can't blame me for wondering whether it might be relevant to our current predicament.
Well, it's not. Not directly, anyway.
Aha! Not directly. Now we're getting somewhere.
Look, I don't want to talk about it, and I'm sure Sherry said the same thing. It was bad. For everyone, but especially for her. The truths she learned that day, she's never going to forget. And she definitely doesn't need you dredging it all up.
There's no need to tell me, darling. She learned the truth about her family, didn't she? That not all that lovely money of theirs was obtained through, how shall we say, completely honest business. It's plain as day, really. Insufferably idealistic young socialite comes into her fortune and starts throwing it at every charitable cause she can find out of guilt. Oh yes, I know her type well enough.
Okay. I kind of get what you mean, yeah.
We learned that a family had been mixed up with some really bad people. No, more than just bad. With true evil.
And so it turns out her life of wealth and comfort was built on the blood of innocence. So very tragic for her, I'm sure.
She just wants to make up for it all. Make it all right again. Sometimes I worry she thinks she can carry the weight of the whole world. If she pushes herself hard enough.
Yes, I did say insufferably idealistic, didn't I?
If by that you mean a better person than you'll ever be, then yeah, that's spot on. She just needs someone to watch her back. That's all.
And let me guess, you do whatever it takes to keep your dear little friend safe, wouldn't you?
Whatever it takes.
My, such ardor, such resolve. Remind me never to get on your bad side, darling.
Too late.
So, who was it then that called the house?
If I tell you, will it get you to leave me alone?
My dear girl, this predicament affects all of us. If you found out anything that might be in the least helpful, surely it's in all of our interests for you to share it.
I'll take that as a yes. Fine. The number is 11223344. It's a business number registered to Oxley Accounting Services.
An accountant? Doesn't exactly sound like a social call, now does it?
Who knows? As far as I can tell, this Prince Titanico had some pretty weird friends.
You haven't tried contacting them then?
Nah, that'd mean talking to more weirdos. I'd rather try and hack into their private email or something and see what's up.
I'll leave you to it, my dear.
Has anything changed since? I don't think so.
For just the slightest of moments, I considered collapsing into the antique red chair in the room's corner. After all, we'd spent the evening on our feet, traipsing about the house for the prince's little ghost tour. Then I remembered that spiderwebs don't just come out of nowhere, and that upholstery is a prime place for the little nasties to hide. I would have to remember to warn our doe-eyed little angel about that as well. You know, in addition to the possible bloodstains and all.
Okay, there's nothing else.
Just what kind of skeletons did the Lee family have locked away inside that conspicuous old chest? I must confess, I have a terrible weakness for things that are locked up to keep me out of them. Alas, it's my brother Surprise who's rather handy with the lockpicks, not me.
Okay, so we've gone there. If we go back to the main bedroom. See if we can.
Comtessa darling, I just heard a delectable little morsel of gossip and simply must share it with someone.
Why, some scrumptious gossip is just
Gossip.
what I need right now. Do tell me more, dear.
I was talking to the Leah girl, you know, Sharice's little hanger-on, and she hinted that she'd been feuding with her family and was more or less kicked out of the house.
Oh my, how sad for the poor young thing.
To be honest, if she lived with me, I'm quite sure I'd do the same. But do you know anything about who she is?
I dare say I know a little. Her parents were wealthy moguls in the technology sector. That is, until about a year ago.
Ugh, of course they were. No wonder I didn't know who she was. I find all that technobabble so terribly dull. So, what happened?
Someone leaked the company's most sensitive records that suggested corporate espionage and other unsavory business. Thanks to a rather exorbitantly priced lawyers, the family avoided a prison sentence, but the company was ruined.
I see. Do you think, then, that our very own Miss Leah was...
The one to leak the files? Oh, darling, it's unseemly to speculate about such things. All I know is that they always said it must have been an inside job.
A self-righteous brat who will send her own family up the river if that's what it takes to do what she thinks is right. And here I thought I couldn't like her any less than I already did.
And now she doesn't like technobabble. I'm gonna go to the main hall again. Okay. So I can't get any more information out of her. You find that hard to believe. Okay, I'm gonna see if in the dining hall. Okay, so then the last place to go is here.
When I'd first arrived at the Manor House, I thought it might rain that evening. And in light of recent events, I half expected a flash of lightning to provide an atmospheric backdrop to the stage of our little drama, complete with the clap of thunder as the applause. But the night air hung cold and still, and the only sound was the rustling of weeds and brush that clawed against the foundations of the building. Wait, rustling? But there isn't any wind. Who's that out there?
It's just me, Misfortune, ma'am.
I say, what in the world are you doing skulking about in the brush like that? Don't tell me they get you to do the groundskeeping around here, too.
Sometimes I do a bit of gardening, yes. You know, when things get out of hand.
Gardening? At a time like this?
Well, no, ma'am. Right now, I'm keeping an eye out for strangers, just to keep everyone safe.
What a relief. I do feel ever so much safer when a hulking man with an eye patch is lurking in the shadows right outside the house. My dear Clops, please tell me you didn't really think there might still be a stranger lurking around here in the underbrush.
Well, ma'am, no one was watching the door when the prince was in the hall. Whoever did it could have run right out the front door.
Why, indeed they could have. Not much gets by you, it seems. And yet, here you are, searching through the weeds at the base of the house. With the coast clear, would our furtive stranger not just have kept going?
I'm sure he probably did. I'm just looking for footprints.
Oh, footprints now. Ah, yes, of course. And have you found any?
No, ma'am.
More's the pity. It would have been so much nicer to believe the killer was no longer in the house. Especially with our resident bodyguard busy traipsing through the muck outside.
Sorry, ma'am, but I'm just a valet.
Of course you are.
You seem to do everything, though.
Can you tell me anything about our late host? Perhaps about this grand announcement of his?
About the boss? I mean, the prince? Sorry, ma'am, but he wasn't the sort to confide in a mere valet like myself.
Oh, come now. I know how it is with servants. You're bound to have seen or heard a thing or two about the house, whether your master knows it or not.
Look, I take my duties seriously. I make it a point not to see things that I'm not supposed to see.
Like, it was an LCD display, so clearly logic level voltage, that would require a relay, or I'm gonna pretend I understood every single word of that, because I didn't.
Yes, I suppose not seeing things would be rather a specialty of yours. Tell me, have you worked for the prince for a long time?
Yes, ma'am. Many years now.
And you're still just a valet? Tisk tisk. Promotions must be hard to come by in that household. So, you were in quite the tizzy when you came running to find me earlier. Was it you who found the body?
Yes, ma'am. I found it in the hall, just like you saw.
And what were you doing before that?
Well, I let the boss, the prince, into the hall to take his phone call. Then I went to the pantry to get more candles for the dining room. I didn't know how long Horatio was going to be with the lights.
So, the prince was alone then when you left him in the hall?
Yes, ma'am. Without a doubt.
Why then, it appears you may have been the last one to see the poor prince alive.
Wouldn't that actually have been the killer, ma'am?
I suppose so. But then, you did just say you were quite certain he was alone.
What do you mean by that? I'm just doing my job here.
Oh yes, of course. I'm sure you're quite excellent at Well, whatever it is that valets do. That's right. In all this commotion, I'd almost forgotten the whole reason the prince left us was to take a phone call. Do you know who was calling?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Well, that's a little odd. They didn't give a name.
I asked, but they said the matter was confidential.
So you spoke to them then. Can you describe anything at all about the caller?
Yes, I took the call, and they asked for the prince right away. Which is a bit funny, now that you mention it. I didn't think very many people would have this number. Anyway, pretty sure the caller was a woman. She was all crisp and businesslike, too. I'm afraid I can't tell you more than that.
I suppose it would be too much to hope that this rotting old place would have call display.
No, ma'am. It's a wonder most of the wiring around here even works at all.
Must be magic, I suppose. There were stories from the time of the Revolutionary War that when soldiers first stormed the grounds of the Lee Manor, ferocious spectral beasts appeared out of nowhere to tear apart the terrified trespassers. Of course, you can't believe everything you hear. But I found myself keeping a watchful eye on the wolf statues in the courtyard, just to be sure. Klops claimed he had already checked the ground around the house for footprints, but I thought it couldn't hurt to double-check. Apparently I thought wrong, though, for as I stepped off the path into the brush, the weeds and thorns tore at my skirts and scratched my ankles. You know, I think I'll just take the one-eyed brute's word for it after all. A run-down shed sat in the corner of the yard. Gingerly, I tried the door, but the wood had swollen, and it seemed stuck in its frame. It was just as well, I suppose. Ugh. Why would I want to go inside a moldy old shed anyway?
Okay, so... Shed doesn't matter. Okay.
So, that Klops fellow. He was the prince's valet. Have I got that right?
Yes, that's right. Mr. Tor is the butler, but today's his day out.
So is he, a good valet then? I only ask because I just found him skulking about in the brush outside, and I wasn't really sure if that was the sort of things valets usually do.
Was he now? Well, I can't say I know terribly much about the exact duties of my dear friend's household staff, but I know he did some gardening from time to time.
Indeed, gardening. I believe he said something along those lines as well.
Yes, well, he was quite good at whacking weeds. Or so I heard.
I suppose that sounds about right. If I were a weed, or really, even if I wasn't, I wouldn't want to get whacked by him either. Was he happy with his work? Do you know?
Come to think of it, he did seem a bit jealous of Mr. Tor's position from time to time.
No doubt being a butler pays better than a mere valet. Though I'm not sure how either stacks up against a grand magus.
Ahem. Need I remind you, Misfortune, I am not, was not, an employee of the prince's household.
But of course, how silly of me. So back to Mr. Klops then. Do you know if he had issues with money? Might he badly have needed a raise?
I'm starting to think that the prince guy, is in the mob, right? Right, so then it's like, we might have to... Well, but then again, she gave us the number.
Really couldn't say. Perhaps someone on the staff did, though. I did sometimes hear Mr. Tor complain about small valuables going missing.
So very interesting. You've been a great help, my dear Horatio.
It is my pleasure to be of service.
I'm gonna go back to the main. I'm gonna see if I've been missing something about item line. Okay. Is there... Is there a way to...
A padded velvet cushion sat in the cabinet looking somewhat... I could swear that something had... Yes, that was it. There had been a knife on the cushion during our tour. I was sure of it. And not just any knife. The knife that may have stabbed the prince. But who could have taken it? I cast my mind back, trying to remember if anyone had...
Okay. So there's...
The large crystal globe in the cabinet was impossible to miss. It seemed to be filled with a swirling red mist of some kind, and as I stared into it, I thought for a moment that I could see a pair of malevolent eyes. Or was it just one, staring back? But surely it must have just been my reflection in combination with the dim light.
So I can't... I go out into the grounds. I don't think there will be anything new. I don't think that there's anything new to uncover. Like, there really isn't. So... There's nothing new to uncover. But I don't know that I know for certain who stabbed him. Right. So I think it's... I don't think it could have been. That would make this whole thing weird. But I'm just thinking... So... This isn't where I wanted to be, but this is where I am. I wanted to be in the main hall for a sec. Because I don't think it's this guy. As much as I kinda did, Because I kind of did, but with the lights being out in a timed thing, and it's like, okay, so, like, that explanation does make sense, right? So then it's like, who could have gotten the knife from the smoking room and done all this setup is the other thing. Like, who could have done all that setup? Like... The other thing that's interesting, too, is that, like, okay, so, like...
The prince's most obvious injury was the wound on his... The wound itself was deep.
There's also, like, the black marks on his hands, which seems to...
There was something odd about the prince's right hand. I knelt down to get as close a look as I could without touching it. I checked the left hand as well, just to be sure.
Yeah, so... Has his hand being burned, right? But other than, like, money things, like, well, if an accountant... I think it might be the Butler guy. Because, like, okay, so if money is, like, the thing, and he was getting a call from an accountant, I think it might have been okay. I think, after thinking about it more... Because I think that, like... The whole ring thing, I think, is a distraction. Sure, we can't extrapolate any more information. Right, because there's no motive for anybody else. The only motive...
The police weren't yet here, but it made no matter. I had seen everything I needed to see. It was time to lay this mystery to rest and expose the guilty party for all to see. I do so love it when someone other than me gets their comeuppance.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Everyone's here. I guess that means we can begin.
Begin, what exactly?
Why, exposing the murderer, of course.
You mean you know who it is?
Because I don't think it's these guys. I really did think it was this guy. But, like, I'm starting to think it's this.
Of course I do, my dear. Don't you?
Well, no. I'm not sure. At least not yet.
Pity. You were the one who said we had to see the truth for ourselves or something, weren't you? Well, it's a good thing that at least one of us has been busy this past little while.
Come now, darling, you simply can't keep us in suspense like this. Are you going to tell us or not?
Also, his leg was broken, so it has to
Yeah,
be a
after all
more
this, it
Barley
better be
guy.
good. Not that I'm getting my hopes up or anything, mind you.
Tut-tut. All in good time, my dear little girl. First, we all need to agree on some basic facts. Mr. Klops, you've been posted out in front of the house ever since we found the body, yes?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
And did you see anyone leaving the house? Or anybody hanging about at all?
No, ma'am. There was no one there. And nobody would have got past me, that's for sure.
No, I'm sure they wouldn't. That glowering gaze of yours alone would be enough to send them scurrying back the way they came. As for the rest of us, did anyone find any trace of a break-in? Broken windows, muddy footprints, anything at all?
Indeed not. I saw nothing of the sort, and if I might say so, a magician's eyes are trained to spot even the smallest of details.
I didn't see anything either.
Not a thing.
Good then, so we agree. Nobody else has entered or left the house, which means that the killer is one of us, right here in this room.
Darling, this is just too much. If you make us wait even a moment more, I shall need a glass of brandy and a bottle of smelling salts.
Oh, I'll take more orange juice. If someone is getting drinks, that is.
Yes, sir. But first, how about we hear who did it?
This is it then. There's no going back. It's time to end this. Whoever I point to now is not going to be terribly pleased with me. But that's fine, as I'm not terribly pleased with them either. If they wanted to have half a chance of getting away with this, they made a most misfortunate choice in trying to frame me.
So, I think it was Klops,
It was
honestly.
you, Klops. You killed Prince Titanico.
He also did at the beginning be like, what is your name? Are you, like, Miss? What does that, like, right?
Me? What are you talking about?
Now, Klops, there's no need for shouting. We can talk this through like reasonable people.
Urgh.
Why don't you, keep talking then, Misfortune?
Certainly. Perhaps first we should get the issue of motive out of the way. That shouldn't take long.
It's a money thing.
What do you mean? Why would I want to kill my own boss?
That, my dear man, is as plain as the perpetual scowl on your face.
Wasn't it?
Quite simply, Mr. Klops, you were sick and tired of being a mere valet.
Klops, where have you been? My mid-afternoon cognac is late.
Sorry, sir. I'll fetch it straight away.
Good. and see to it that it doesn't happen again. Oh, and before you go, draw those blinds. I am trying to read some Guy de Mauvasoir in this wretched light. Pah! It is ruining the mood.
Yes, sir. Anything else, sir?
Yes, there is an orange juice stain on my best cloak. I shall need it cleaned at once.
Yes, whatever you say, sir.
Clean this, get me that, and all without a word of thanks. By the end, you were so dissatisfied with your work that you'd even taken to stealing small valuables around the house.
Klops? That was you? I always wondered what happened to those wonderful porcelain medieval miniatures. Shame on you.
Hey, look, not all of us get a free ride around here. Some of us have got to make ends meet.
Perhaps the prince even caught your thievery and threatened you. Or perhaps you were once again refused the promotion that you so obviously craved. Either way, enough was enough. It was time for revenge.
Am I right? Jesus Christ.
I'll, take your silence as agreement then.
Take it how you want. I didn't do it, so I won't cop to nothing.
Still playing stubborn, are you? Very well. I think you'll come around when we consider how the prince was actually killed.
How? But we know how. It's pretty obvious just by looking at him.
Yes, that's just what you'd like us to think, isn't it? But the truth is that the prince...
He's got a broken
was
leg.
stabbed, yes, but that came later. If you look at the body, there's very little blood. And it also seems as if he fell with a good deal of force.
That's what it looked like to me, too. That must mean he was pushed from the landing at the top of the stairs.
Yes, exactly. Now let me ask you, just what was the prince doing when he left us for the last time?
He was going to take a phone call.
And who was it that told him about this phone call?
Why, it was Mr. Klops.
So what? Of course I told him about the call. That's just doing my job.
In the book Murder on the Orient Express, it was everyone. I think I've seen that. I haven't read it. I haven't read the actual thing. But I've seen it both in live performance and I've seen the movie with Mr. Yip. So I think that the point of Murder on the Orient Express isn't about who did it. It's a lot more a story about how, it's a lot more about a story of grace and forgiveness and revenge than it is really, like, a traditional, like, yep, whodunit. It's not really a traditional whodunit, because really it didn't matter which of them killed Bruno Castetti at the end. Yeah.
Your job, yes. And also the last straw. He told you to fetch some candles for us while we stayed in the dining room, which you did, but not before you followed the prince back to the hall and pushed him to his death.
That's baloney.
Baloney.
Oh, come now, Mr. Klops. You had by far the best opportunity of any of us. And when you saw the prince alone, on the phone by the balcony with his back to you, you just couldn't resist. All that anger and resentment came welling up, and then whoops! In an instant, it was too late, and the deed was done.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. The simplest solution is usually the right one.
But it doesn't account for the stabbing. When did that happen?
Ah, the little teacher's pet has been paying attention. Well done, dear. You see, the stabbing was done.
when he found the body because of the extra
Quite
time
a
it
bit
took.
later, in fact. In fact, Charisse, my dear, I think you of all people should know when it was done.
You mean when... Oh!
Darling, seriously, what do you mean?
I think she's saying it was when he... found the body. I saw him go into the hall and thought it took him a little too long to come back out.
Wait, you what? Why are you all ganging up on me all of a sudden? I thought you were the nice one.
I'm sorry, but it's just the truth of what I saw.
You see, after toppling his old master, Mr. Klops had a few moments to reflect while he puttered about fetching candles and the like. He realized that if we knew the true nature of the attack on the prince, he was sure to be the obvious suspect. So, he acquired a knife and returned to the scene in a clumsy attempt to disguise the time and method of the prince's death.
Before we get any further, I really must say that I am shocked and appalled that anyone on my friend Titanico's staff could behave in so ghastly a manner.
Right.
However, if what you say is true, Misfortune, then that leaves one question of supreme importance. Where now is the knife?
Orangey's got a point. If Klops here did the stabbing only seconds before finding the body, then he must have had it on him during the commotion of rounding us all up.
This is it. The one-eyed brute must have had it on him when he came running out of the hall. Solve this one, and it's sure to be the final blindside that I need. Very well, then. I will enlighten you all one last time. You see, the knife... was hidden in the house. Specifically, under the pillow in the queen bedroom.
Darling, I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
You mean you knew too?
Oh yes, I was there when Misfortune found it. And there certainly is a knife there. Except, darling, and I do hope you won't be too terribly cross with me, there's one little flaw in your theory.
Oh, really? And what might that be?
Well, it's just that except for the times when we've all been together, I've been in that room the entire time since we found the prince. And of all of us, Mr. Klops has got to be the one person who never set foot in it.
I knew it. This whole thing was a setup. I bet she even planted that knife in the bedroom. Did you know she wouldn't even tell me if Misfortune was a real name earlier? Who knows what else the dame's been lying about?
Misfortune, I must say that you've seemed awfully desperate to convince us of Klops' guilt. Awfully desperate indeed.
What? Rubbish. Nonsense. I just want to do my civic duty and make things as quick and straightforward as possible for our busy, hard-working law enforcement officers. That's all.
Civic duty? You? Okay, now I know you're full of it.
Well, since you're inclined to be so helpful, Misfortune, perhaps you would submit to a quick search of your person? Of course, we should all do the same. I'll even go first if you like.
No, I vote her first. Might save us all some trouble.
Okay, I
think
did
that's a
something
good
wrong
idea.
here.
Any objections, ma'am?
I suppose not. I mean, I have nothing to hide. Well, not much at least.
Allow me.
No,
then,
we've done this
darling.
wrong.
I do have gloves on just in case, and I promise I'll be gentle. Hang on. What's this? Oh my lord! There's a knife in her purse, and it's got blood on it.
A knife? My dear Countess, get back. Klops, make sure she doesn't try anything.
Unhand me, you ill-dressed oaf! I swear, that knife isn't mine. I have no idea how it got there.
The blade. It's the same as the wound on the prince. Misfortune.
I think we fucked up on the last option.
You killed him?
It was us.
There's
No, I
something
don't
else in
think
the
so.
bag. A diamond ring. Wait, this belonged to the boss.
Let me see. Oh my. Klops, you are right. This ring, it was on the prince when he died. Misfortune, you dastardly fiend.
Are you even listening to me, you orange juice guzzling clown? I don't know how those things got in my purse. Under the circumstances, I think we're going to have to leave it to the police to decide that.
Yes, Klops. Don't let her out of your sight for an instant. A villainous villain will face justice for what she did to my friend.
I hear the sirens now. I'll go let them in. Can't say I'll be terribly upset to have them take her away from here.
Goodbye, Misfortune.
Tisk tisk, darling. Petty robbery. Must be hard times, I suppose. Normally, you're smart enough to marry them first.
Goodbye. Okay, so I'm really interested where we went wrong, because part of me wonders if what happened is that okay, so there was some stuff that we missed, which it felt like it. Okay, so apparently I'm still... Okay. Trying to see if there's... I'm very confused, because I've looked at... It's very interesting, because for the people who have played it, they're not really... There's one thing that we miss. There's like one big thing, apparently, that we missed. So part of me is like, can you load... That was so long ago, though. That was so long ago. That was so long ago. How long ago is this? Is this, before we talk to everyone?
I found the rest of the ladies. Now, Klaus.
Oh, yes, this is. Oh, yes, this is. This is before we found everything.
The other my eye.
Yes, ma'am.
It'll take the.
Wait.
No.
I'm interested to know something, now that we know everything that we know.
If...
My dear,
We won't
that is...
Surely...
I'll keep it.
Perhaps it would have been more comfortable. I had.
I don't want to be here.
No. What a tragedy. No, I'm... But...
Prince Titanico mentioned.
Yes.
You mean
You must
that?
My dear...
I see.
About... No.
Oh?
As I...
What? Where were you when this
I imagine...
was?
Ahem.
I was in the.
Hello.
As it happened.
But you could have... Well...
Yes.
There is one kind of annoying thing, is that the
Horatio,
game doesn't...
long?
I have...
Oh yes.
I do...
Indeed.
The game doesn't save right before
I do.
Do be careful.
you, it doesn't save, like, in the smoke room before you push all the options. So... But I am interested about something.
As best I knew, our mysterious 13. It seems.
Okay, so there's this whole landing thing that I missed. I missed this whole landing thing.
The phone itself was heavy, made of metal, and certainly quite old-fashioned. Normally, that's the sort of style I prefer, but right now, a call history of some kind would have come in rather handy. But why is the receiver dangling like that? Did this table get bumped at some point? What have we here? There's an extra wire clipped to the back of the phone. I'm quite certain this sort of phone doesn't normally need more than one wire. Let's just leave it alone for now, shall we?
Extra phone wire.
The phone itself was heavy, made of metal, and so.
Okay.
Why is
So that's what we missed there. Was the phone. But I still don't know how that would have... I don't know how that would have helped with a damn thing. I really don't. Okay, you can call the person. Okay. Okay, so... Okay, so it was the wizard guy. Kind of like I thought, oh my goodness, the room is spinning! I didn't notice that you guys were getting a spinning room. That's so funny. I didn't know that you guys were getting just a spinning room. Okay. So... yeah, I'm sorry that you guys are getting a spinning room. But, so... okay. Okay, so, like, I was kind of thinking that, like, so some of the things that I had, so, like, I was thinking when I started that this might be, but then it's like, okay, but I can't, like, I couldn't quite, like, get how, cause, like, so, in the game, apparently it was Horatio, but it was, I couldn't get Horatio in the same area as, like, I couldn't get him in that room when the murder took place. That was, like, the big thing, is I couldn't get him in the room where the murder took place. Right? It's like, he had the means to do it. He had the motive, because it was kind of, like... he had the motive in the fact that, like, it was kind of hinted at that, he wanted to marry that girl, right? But it wasn't, like, super stated out. But also the other thing more, what more got me to that, it's like, okay, so that's, like, a possible, like, motive thing, whatever. But it was the fact that the guy's hand was black, right? And it was burned, and it's like, okay, so, like, electrical burn, right? Could be an electrical burn. The only person who was in the electrics was that guy. And so that's, but I wasn't like, but how does he get there, right? How does he get there, right? But it was like, oh, the phone was rigged. That's what happened. The phone was rigged. Okay. Who would be rigging the phone? Guy who does all the electric stuff, right? So... yeah, I'm not sure how the second knife connects in there. Like, the second knife really threw me off. Right, and so that's why I was kind of like, no, he's fine. And then I kind of suspected that it might be, Leah? Whatever the hell her name is. Because it was like, oh, this guy sounds shady now. Like, the prince guy sounds like he might be a mafia boss, right? Your workers who call you boss. You're really rich. You might be a mobster, who fucking knows? We say nothing. Right? So it's kind of like, I can see it now, but I don't fully. Like, it makes sense, but it also doesn't at the same time. Because I'm not sure what the hell the second knife thing was about. Oh. He was the one who got the ladies oh. I get how the second knife works now. Because he was the one who collected everybody else. This makes a little bit more sense. I still can't quite put him at... But if we look at the map, though, this room isn't that far away from where the balcony would be. And if he had rigged the I can see it. I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it. Okay. Well, we failed to do that. But that's fine. I really don't want to go through all that dialogue again. I am interested, though, if we go back to, like, here. Right? So if we go back to here, where will this put us?
The police weren't yet here, but it made no matter. It was time to I do so.
Yep. There's no save. There's no... Oh, there is a way that you can save the game. Oh, okay. So I guess my B for not saving the game, like, right before the thing, when I should've, right? I guess that's kind of my B. Oops. I also kind of forgot that the game had, like, a save, because it's such like a you sit down, you go through it once type game, that I really thought, you know, potentially, but it's also like, the game's probably gonna make you go through all of that too, but, like, I'm not going through all that dialogue again. I'm not going through all the things just so I can connect two other pieces that I missed. That whole, like, phone balcony thing, the whole, the fact that you could go on the balcony at all kind of fucked me up. Because otherwise I would have had everything. Because otherwise I would have had, like, everything. And I wouldn't have thought it was the Butler riot. I wouldn't have. Yay! Yeah, I did not see the whole balcony thing. Because I was wondering, what the fuck do we do with this number, right? Because it was like, okay, so we have this number. What do we do with it? Is it just a nice fucking piece of information? Right? It's like, do we just have this really nice piece of information? It's like, okay. I don't know what to do with this. Whatever. Which is like, oh, you could have used that piece of information on the phone when you had it. Fuck. That's all that I really have to say about that. But yeah, that's all that I really had planned for today. I was thinking that if, like, that game was, like, shorter and there were, like, more choices, right? Like, I thought that it would be a little bit more, like, choice-based. But, and, like, it was, but, like, it was a lot more, like, investigation. It was a game more around investigation than choices. And, like, the way that it sounded, it was more choice-based. And so, if I fucked up, right, because of, like, choices, I was gonna see if you guys could do better, but, like, no, this was, like, just find the information. Once you find the information, you yourself should be able to figure it out. So, I can't play Subnautica yet. I will get back to Subnautica one day, and you will all have to hold my hand, because I will be scared as fuck. God, I hate the ocean. I hate the ocean so much! I'm also gonna turn off the music in the game. Because what I got to was a really pitiful, like, pace. I went through, like, I made, like, there are 10 2-hour, like, VODs up on YouTube that show you how absolutely painfully slow I went through that. Because every time there was a note change, my brain went, what the fuck? What's going on here, right? So, I need to turn the music off. The music actually jump scares me and makes me too anxious to play that game. So I need to turn the music off. Also, there's no music in the ocean. And if there's music in the ocean, you should be getting the fuck out. Right? Because why would there be music in the ocean? Get the fuck out. Goodbye. No. I'm sitting here and I'm already anxious about the ocean. Just thinking about the fact that, like, you're in the ocean, you're having a good time. Suddenly you hear music. No. Waterproof headphones, but you would know why there's music in the ocean then, because you have also, can you even hear underwater? Like, what can you hear underwater? You can hear underwater, okay. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Can we not talk about the ocean anymore? I fucking hate the ocean. So goddamn. You used metal detector. How did that go? Did you find neat shit? Did you find neat things? Really? That's horrifying. That's horrifying. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna since we talked about Subnautica, I'm gonna send you guys to Offspray. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna not think about the ocean anymore and how there's sounds in the ocean. I'm not gonna think about that. I'm gonna try not to. Fuck me. And then I'm gonna eat food because that's what I would like to do. Okay. Bye, guys!
Hey, at least